Every year, mid-February arrives, and suddenly the world looks the same. Red everywhere, hearts everywhere, pressure everywhere. You're told it's a day about love. If you don't participate, you're cold. If you question it, you're dramatic. If you refuse it, you're religious. But truth doesn't care about popularity. And love, real love, does not need a holiday. Today, we're not here to shame anyone. We're not here to judge couples, singles, or families. We're here to slow down, to ask the questions most people never ask. Where did Valentine's Day come from? Why does it look the way it does? What spirit does it promote? And should set-apart believers take part in it? Because Yahuah never told his people to follow the world. He told them to be separate. So let's talk about Valentine's Day. Not emotionally, not traditionally, but truthfully. One of the biggest lies taught today is this: it doesn't matter where something comes from. What matters is what it means to you. That idea is nowhere in Scripture. Yahuah consistently warns his people about origins. He warns Israel not to copy pagan customs, borrow religious practices, rename idol worship, blend truth with falsehood. Why? Because worship is spiritual before it is physical. What something meant first still matters. That's why Yahuah didn't allow Israel to reuse pagan altars. That's why he rejected offerings done his way, but with pagan influence. That's why he calls mixing worship spiritual adultery. So when we talk about Valentine's Day, the first question is not, is it cute? Is it fun? Does it feel harmless? The first question is, where did it come from? Before we even go into history, let's look at what Valentine's Day promotes today. The world version of love is emotional highs, sexual attraction, validation, attention, gifts as proof. Love becomes something you perform, not something you live. If someone didn't buy you something, they don't love you. If you're single, something must be wrong with you. If your relationship doesn't look romantic online, it's failing. That pressure is not from Yahuah. That pressure produces insecurity, comparison, loneliness, lust, financial stress, and anything producing that fruit should make us pause. Because Yahuah's love does not bring anxiety. It brings peace. Valentine's Day traces back to ancient Rome. Long before chocolates and cards, there was a festival called Lupercalia, held every year in mid-February. This was not symbolic love. This was raw, physical, ritualized lust. Lupercalia honored fertility gods, sexual power, animal instinct. Here's what took place. Animals were sacrificed, usually goats and dogs. Priests would cut the skins into strips. They would run through the streets, striking women. Women believed this would make them fertile. Names were placed into containers. Men and women were paired randomly. These pairings often turned sexual. This was not romance. This was fertility worship. And fertility worship has always been one of the greatest abominations to Yahuah. Why? Because it reduces humans to instinct. It removes covenant. It worships creation instead of the Creator. And this festival happened every year, right when Valentine's Day happens today. That timing is not accidental. When Rome claimed to accept Christianity, paganism didn't disappear. It went undercover. Instead of removing pagan holidays, they were renamed. Instead of destroying idols, they were reinterpreted. Lupercalia was becoming uncomfortable for a Christian empire. So Rome did what it always did. They rebranded it. Enter Saint Valentine. The problem? There is no consistent historical account. There are multiple Valentines. Their stories conflict. None of them establish a biblical holiday. And Scripture never instructs believers to honor saints through celebrations. What Rome did was simple. Keep the date. Keep the customs. Soften the language. Christianize the name. Same root. New label. And Yahuah has always rejected that. Now let's talk about the symbols. Because symbols are theology without words. The heart shape. That heart shape is not a human heart. It comes from ancient fertility symbolism, specifically tied to sexual imagery. Cupid. Cupid is not cute. He is Eros, a pagan god of sexual desire. Biblical love is not desire-based. It is covenant-based. Roses in red. Red symbolizes blood, passion, lust. Roses were sacred to Venus, goddess of sexual love. None of this points to Yahuah. None of it reflects biblical marriage. None of it reflects holiness. So when believers say, I don't celebrate the pagan part, just the love part, they're still using pagan symbols to express it. Biblical love looks very different. Love is obedience to Yahuah, faithfulness, patience, sacrifice, discipline. Love does not pressure. Love does not perform. Love does not need public display. Marriage is a covenant, not a vibe. Love is a daily walk, not an annual event. Yahuah never commanded a love holiday, a romance ritual, a couple's celebration, but he did command faithfulness, holiness, separation from paganism. This is where honesty comes in. If Valentine's Day comes from fertility worship, promotes lust, has no biblical command, pressures people emotionally, why hold on to it? Not celebrating Valentine's Day does not mean you hate love. It means you respect it. It means you refuse to mix something sacred with something polluted. Yahuah never asked us to blend in. He asked us to stand apart. If you're married, love your spouse every day. Serve quietly. Honor privately. If you're single, you're not behind. You're not lacking. You're not incomplete. Love starts with obedience to Yahuah. Valentine's Day is not harmless tradition. It is ancient. It is pagan. It is rebranded. And truth doesn't change just because culture accepts it. Once your eyes are open, you get to choose truth or tradition.